Most people don't lose their first $10,000 on a bad investment. They lose it by starting in the wrong place. You probably clicked on this video because you want to know exactly what to buy with that first $10,000 that you got. The right stocks, the right ETFs, index funds. But that's exactly why most people lose money. This isn't a hot stock pick video. This is how I'd actually invest my first $10,000 if I was starting today, knowing what I know. Because money doesn't get built by chasing the hot stock. Money and wealth gets built by not making dumb mistakes early when we get money. So before I invest a single dollar of $10,000, this is what I do first. It's not going to be the sexy version. It's not going to be the TikTok version, the IG version, but the version that actually works and has worked for me. Now, guys, the first step is this. Before the first 10,000 even becomes an investing conversation, I'm checking off a few basics off the list. First thing I'm doing with $10,000 is I'm making sure that I'm getting the match in my retirement plan at my job if they offer it. Because look, that's free money. Yeah, I got 10,000, but make sure I'm getting the free money as well. That's not hype. That's just math, okay? I'm making sure I'm getting that. The second thing I'm doing, and this is all step one, is I'm asking myself, do I have a written plan for my money? Do I have a written plan for this $10,000? Like literally written out, right? You don't want to be out here freestyling with money, freestyling with your decisions about money. Now, the third thing I'm doing, all under step one, is asking myself the question, am I listening to wise counsel? Am I listening to good advice about this money? Or am I just listening to my broke friends who always have their opinions about what I should be doing with my money, but they don't have no money of their own, right? And I'll add one more thing here that people don't talk about enough, okay? If you're a giver, think about how much, and put in your plan, how much of this $10,000 I'm going to be giving away and helping somebody else with, and figuring out whether or not I need to earmark a little something, something for giving and helping other people. Look, I don't care how much it is, just something you need to consider up front is giving. Now, we're still in step one. Now, the part everybody wants to skip, if I've got bad debt, if I've got personal loans out there, if my emergency fund is non-existent, if my job's retirement plan match is sitting there unused. These are all the things that are going to first go on in my head about this $10,000, right? These are the first things you should be thinking about with this money. And listen, I know exactly how this sounds here in step one, but it's critical to build a foundation with money before you try to grow money. Otherwise, you're going to be working hard backwards. You're going to have $10,000 invested in the stock market, but you still owe $15,000 on a car. Or $10,000 working hard for you in the stock market, but you still don't have an emergency fund of $1,500 if your tires go out in your car, right? So I'm telling you, step one with this $10,000 is don't work backwards. And what I'm telling you sounds boring. I get it, right? But this is where people quietly sabotage their own money. Think about all the hundreds of thousands of dollars that you've made over the years, your working years. Where is that money? Where is all that money today, right? Think about the salary you've made for the last 10, 15, 20, 30 years. Where is all that money? This is what happens. When we're not intentional with the dollars that we have, we lose it and we don't know where it went to. If you don't know where your money's gone to over the last 20, 30 years, it's because maybe you've been skipping some of this basic, boring stuff here in step one. So when you get $10,000, start here, right? Get out of the debt with this money if you have bad debt. And by the way, let me say this. If debt is a part of your situation right now, I got a free debt snowball worksheet that's linked in the description box below. No fluff, no hype, just a simple way to get yourself organized and take control over your bad debt. Get it in the description box below. It's free and it comes with instructions. Now, once I've got my bills organized, I got my bad debt being attacked, I got some emergency money in place, and I'm making sure I'm getting my employer's match if they offer it. Now and only now am I ready to say, you know what, maybe I can invest this $10,000 or a portion of this $10,000. Now, before I really dig into step two, let me add something here, okay? Some people are so obsessed with investing in stocks and investing in stocks. I want you to slow that down before we go there, right? We'll talk about stocks, but let's go to step two. real quick. Now, the second thing I do with this $10,000 after I got all that step one out of the way is I would decide, what is this $10,000 actually for? Okay? In other words, map it out. Figure out, how will it help me, this $10,000, how will it help me reach my financial goals? Do you have financial goals, right? Think about it like this. Money without a job will always find trouble. Money without intention could go anywhere. So before I pick an investment, exactly what I want to invest in with this $10,000, I need to know what this $10,000 is supposed to do for me. How is it supposed to help out my goal? How is it supposed to support what I want to do in the next 5, 10 years? Is this money for the next 2 or 3 years? Or is this money supposed to last me for 10 or 15 years? Is this money supposed to go towards my retirement? Is this money supposed to give me some type of freedom or flexibility? Is this money, do I want this money to grow, or do I want to use it on something, right? Do I want this money to sit in my emergency funds so I can sleep better at night because I got an extra $10,000 in cash over here, right? Now, here is something, let me throw this at you as well before we jump into the investment piece. This is something you got to think about with this $10,000. One reason a lot of people live a lifetime of low income is because they have low paying skills. So sometimes the best use of your first $10,000 is simply investing in you, right? Educating yourself, upgrading your skills, getting the certification that will raise your income potential. Look, if you could take this $10,000 and invest in classes that will increase your income by $50,000 a year, wouldn't that be money well spent? Probably so, right? I think so. And I'm not talking about falling for a scam course or something like that, or putting your money towards some type of weekend conference. No, I'm not. What I'm saying is, I mean a legitimate, proven skill set. Something that's legal. Let's keep it real, right? But I'm talking about real, higher paying skills. Because sometimes all it takes is $10,000 to get a skill set that's going to put more money in your pocket every single year, or a skill set that'll make you more valuable in the workplace. And here's another path that a lot of people ignore when they get money. If you already own real estate, you have your own home or you have some type of rental property, sometimes the best investment or place to put that $10,000 may not be in the stock market. Maybe it's improving the asset that you already own. Maintenance, repairs, upgrades, right? Think about if you all happen to own a duplex or a triplex, some multi-family piece of property, maybe you can upgrade the property with this $10,000 and mess around and raise your rents a little, improve the rent potential. That's still investing too. So there's another avenue for what you could do with this $10,000. Look, it's just something to consider. Now, let's talk the stuff that everyone wants to talk about. Investing to grow the money. This is where everyone wants to start. But I'm saying make sure that foundation is solid with this $10,000 first. Once I figure out the job of the money and I have all the basics done, now if all that stuff is already done, you can skip to this point, right? At this point, you may want to choose an investment. And early on, I'm boring on purpose, right? But here's the deal. If you're looking for the right investment, it depends on who you are. If you're a person that is not into investing and you don't know much about investing, perhaps the best thing for you, if you want to invest this money, is to look at some broad-based index funds or broad-based ETFs. And that way you get some simple diversification, right? Because broad-based index funds or ETFs, you don't have to be right about one company. Remember, ETFs and index funds are just a bucket of companies. So you don't have to guess which company is going to outperform the rest of the market. You ain't got to do that. Now, let's put some actual substance on the table here. Think about allocation with this $10,000. When people hear the term allocation, they think spreadsheets. But that's not where we're going here. Maybe with this money, this $10,000, you can allocate the money in different buckets. Maybe bucket one, you could take a few $1,000s of it and you could put it in some growth ETFs or index funds, right? Maybe bucket two, you could put a small slice of it maybe into high quality bonds, money market type holdings, right? And I'm naming those things because it all depends on how old you are, when you want to get to the money and use the money, what your risk tolerance is. There's a lot of different variables that will determine what you should do with this $10,000. I'm just mentioning Allocation, bucket of growth, bucket of bonds, which is stability, and maybe a bucket of cash for flexibility, some cash reserves. And I know people get mad when you say cash, right? But look, cash is not trash. Cash is options, okay? Also, I would consider some portion of this money to go into a high yield savings account. Maybe that can be where you can put a portion of the money into some cash. Cash is what stops you from selling investments in the worst time. So there's nothing wrong with having a little portion of this be in some cash. And for some people, a small slice of precious metals might make sense for you as well. It depends on you and what you want to invest the $10,000 in. And I'm not saying precious metals or gold and silver because they're going to make you rich or wealthy, but I look at precious metals, gold and silver as insurance. It's not the main engine of your $10,000, but it could be like the spare tire if something goes wrong in the world. With this $10,000, the goal is for me is not to be entertained with the money. The goal is to put the money in a safe space where I feel comfortable with my investments. The goal for me, and why I mentioned allocation with the $10,000, is maybe you want to position yourself in a way that makes you feel comfortable. You don't have to always be right. You just need to still be standing with your $10,000. In 10 years, you want to know where your $10,000 went. And you want to know, did it grow? Did it accomplish what I wanted it to accomplish, right? Now, with $10,000, we don't have to get fancy. So the question becomes, really, would I put this money in single stocks? Probably not, me personally. I would do all the things, the other things that I mentioned in this video before I even consider individual stocks. Now, guys, let me pause right here for a quick second. If you're realizing you've been doing money out of order, this is exactly why I built my 4 steps financial reset that's coming up here in about a week. I'm not just making videos for views. I'm trying to help people actually fix the stuff that's bothering them with their money in real life, okay? The 4 steps financial reset is going to give you structure, clarity, and give you a plan. And yes, it's paid, because here's what I found out. People who are serious about being better with their money, they follow through and they're not afraid to pay for help. And I purposely keep enrollment low so we can get more done on an individual personal level. If you want to do this with me instead of alone, the link to the 4 steps financial reset is in the description box below. All right, now let's put all this together with your first $10,000, okay? If I followed this process with my first $10,000, I wouldn't be chasing excitement. I'd be developing a strong foundation with this $10,000. Developing good habits through logical thinking with money. I'd be buying time. I'd be trying to buy some flexibility. And I'd be buying peace of mind. That's how wealth really and actually starts, guys. Most people, they want it fast, right? How can I double and triple my money in the next 6 months? Wealth, though, is built with boring consistency. And if you don't get anything else out of this video, I need you to get this. You have to learn to do things in the right order with money. If you walk into a gym, let me give an example. If you walk into a gym and you want to play some basketball, and the first thing you do is you want to say, hey, teach me how to dunk a ball. Well, look, I'm not going to teach you how to dunk a ball if you want to learn to play basketball, right? You have to learn how to dribble, how to shoot, how to pass, how to move without the ball, how to play defense. Just because you can dunk or you want to get taught to dunk, it doesn't mean that's the right place for you to start to learn to play the game. Look, whether you can dunk a ball and be real fancy behind the back and, alley-oops and windmill, all that stuff don't really matter. The point is, can you actually play basketball? That's what really matters. That's what wins games. And when it comes to money, just because you want to walk into the gym of money and invest immediately doesn't mean that's the best place for you to start. And investing immediately won't make you wealthy or good with money. It's the same concept. You can't walk into the gym of wealth and just say, let me start investing a whole bunch of money. That's how I'm going to win with money. It don't work that way. You got to learn to do the basics first. And the better you are with the foundational basics of money, the better your long-term game of money is going to be, right? Everybody wants to start by investing money first and do all the other stuff last. I'm saying on this video, do all the stuff you would do last, do it first, and then we can invest down the road, right? What's the sense of growing money if you can't handle the money that you already have? What's the sense in trying to grow the $10,000 if you're doing it out of order? That's why some people that make six figures, make a whole lot of money, they still live paycheck to paycheck because they're not organized. They're not doing things in the right order. They're not being intentional, right? They make a lot of money, but they can't manage and keep a lot of money. There's a difference. So this is what I would do with my first $10,000. Look, if you want to go deeper into this money mindset, do yourself a favor, grab the book, Manage Your Way to Millions. It's going to be linked in the description box below also. And if you're ready to stop guessing and start building with intention, again, check out the 4 steps financial reset that's going to be in the description box below. I'm not here to impress you. I'm here to help you win quietly, consistently, and on purpose with taking that $10,000, your first $10,000, and turn it into $100,000. Look, guys, if you got value, smash that like button and share this video with somebody who you know. And don't forget to drop me a comment below. And don't forget to drop me a comment below and let me know, hey, I got value. Hey, the best person who's going to take care of the old you is the young you. Until the next video, peace.